Good evening and a very warm welcome from Romford Inner Space in England. And today I thought we would talk about the power of silence and have a meditation on silence, because silence in the physical world is very much different to silence in the spiritual world, because in the physical world, when the mind is still running 100 miles an hour, the mouth can be saying nothing, and of course, although there's nothing being said, there's plenty being said by the mind, and many authorities call it the chatterbox of the mind because it chatters incessantly. If something happens, it repeats it and entwines itself within the web of so many thoughts, and those thoughts can take you spiraling downwards if it's of a negative nature. And of course, if there's something you can't do anything about, but your mind's still running, then it can make you depressed and filled with fear and apprehension of what will happen if this continues for very long. How long will this continue? And of course, they have the questions which increase the negative sound that's in the mind. So our feelings are always combined with our thoughts. There are many thoughts that just come and just go, but when it's something in particular that the mind focuses on, a visualization happens, a visualization of something that could be very dark, a place where you end up. Many people have the fear of losing their homes, losing family members at this time, so they start to visualize what will happen when that space is vacated and that presence is no longer there, or that building is no longer there, and there's the fear of what will happen after that. So the chatterbox of the mind has plenty of fuel to feed on, and we want to use this visualization in a very powerful way to actually move you away from the chatterbox of the mind, so that the chattering that goes on of the mind creates good feelings that you experience that actually take you away from the gloom and doom of the role that we play, or what could happen to the roles, because the roles are really only temporary that we play. Who's playing the role is a permanent fixture. So you'll always be you, no matter whether it's your role that comes and goes, or whether it's someone else's role that comes and goes, whether it's things of a material nature that increases all the thoughts in the chatterbox of the mind. The mind is really only chattering about the roles that we play and the contents of those roles. And of course, to get yourself to be content, you have to practice moving away from the content of what you own, what you see, what you hear, all the things of the physical world, which is why we call the silence of the mind a spiritual silence, because it isn't actually a blankness. It's not something that's very flat. It's something of an attainment where the actual content of your own mind is filled with good fortune, and you're moving away from the limited into the unlimited. Your virtues are the most precious things that you'll ever have, and the virtues go with you, whether you're playing this role or in your next role or your past roles. Your virtues have always been there to meet and greet you. So there's never any fear of losing these virtues. But the chatterbox of the mind of a physical, material nature make your virtues disappear for a while. In other words, they become merged. We want them to be immerged, not submerged or merged, but the contents of the mind, which is very much in the presence of your virtues, are only really apparent when you learn to talk to yourself in a spiritual and an eternal way. Getting the I am, a being that is separate to the role that I play, a peaceful being, whatever you want to be. Start to decorate yourself, start to visualize yourself as a peaceful being playing a role that may promote a lot of peacelessness. You can be in a very peaceless situation, but you could initialize and promote the I am, the peaceful being separate to this peaceless situation. You have to be very alert to it, very conscious of it, that the actual peaceless scenario that's taking place around you, whether it be on the news or in the room, is that I am the peaceful being, the peaceful entity that resides behind the eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul, and you start to visualize yourself as light within the physical costume, within the physical body. They say when the person dies that the light in the eyes disappears, but it's not really a light that's separate to you, because you always were that light. So you move away from the physical body, and that's what happens to all human beings. The being moves away from the human form, and just the light of the eyes go dark. So you can actually visualize yourself to be a spiritual being in the physical body, and the mind is actually becoming more silent because there's an attainment in peace. There's no attainment in peacelessness. It's just something that actually creates a lot of fear and worry, and really the only reason why it's of a negative nature is because you as a soul and I as a soul are pure peace. We actually are the very essence of peace when we're separate to the role, when we're very much involved in the role. We get involved in the physical costume first. The I shifts from the soul to the body first, and then it shifts to other things. So it's in that order really. So we don't really have to be too concerned with peaceless situations. We have to be more concerned with the form that the I am is taking on. So we use this I am, maybe 100, 200 times a day if we're in mixed company. So the I am is quite incessant with the then I am thinking of what will happen in this situation that I am involved in. And in actual fact, the essence of the I am is yourself as a peaceful soul. So recognizing, becoming very alert to this shift that takes place. Quite an art form, really, when you actually just automatically, because we're programmed to say I, and we very quickly say I think, and to be aware at that moment that it's I, the peaceful being, I, the pure, powerful being that is speaking, and then it won't go in to the other things of I think this and I think that. And bear in mind, when you have opinions about people, be it they may be very peaceless people, but by thinking about them, you make yourself very peaceless as well. When you have a situation that's a stressful situation, the situation has only become a stressful situation because the I am has been converted to the person, to the role that's in that situation. So the stress is actually coming from our own mind. Take the stress away from people's minds, and there are no stressful situations. The appearance changes. It just seems to be a scene in a drama. It seems to be exactly what it is. Which is why we say don't make a scene, because it means don't add to that scene. It is a scene, and that's all it is. And once it's seen as a scene, then you've seen it out. So it's actually passing by. All scenes of the drama are passing by. Nothing stays for very long unless we hold on to it by listening to the chatterbox of the mind. The chatterbox of the mind is only initiated when the I becomes the physical, material I. In other words, the I of the identity of the body. But we're not the bodies, and we never will be. We talk from here, we look from here, all our senses are connected to here. So everything that's going on in your world is going on here, not down there. When we talk about the heart of a person, we normally relate to the physical heart that pumps blood around, but the actual heart is in the emotion of the mind. So when you create this awareness of the I, all of a sudden the chatterbox has nothing to talk particularly about, so it can't actually keep you awake at night. It can't put you off your food. The content is not being mixed with the content from the outside. The content at the present time has been contaminated by the content of the outside, and really your own content is, well, how do you enjoy to be peaceful, loved and loving, kind, warm, gentle, as we say, always treat others the way you'd like to be treated yourself. And we like to be treated like that because it's our true nature. So being aware of your true nature is part of the content of silence. So it's not actually a silence that is a nothingness. It's a silence that's very active because it's filled with the goodness of your true nature. Don't buy into any belief systems that you're a bad person. It's just that there's been a contamination take place. If you feel bad when people speak badly to you, then it must be that your goodness isn't feeling loved. So you have to love your own goodness rather than what you believe or what someone else believes your badness to be. So when you actually think of yourself in a negative way, that becomes part of something that you identify with. And when the true I is functioning, that I am a peaceful soul, a loving being, a powerful being. Nothing can rock me, nothing can move me, nothing can disturb me. When you talk to yourself like this, then you're representing your true nature. You're mirroring your true nature, and it feels good. Learn to have faith in it as well, because that magnifies its power when you start to apply your own faith. Remember, you always have faith, but sometimes that faith is in doubt in yourself. So it's ironic, really, that we would have faith in our doubt, but that makes our doubt feel strong. But it's not. It's because you've got faith in it, or you believe that someone else is saying something about you that's true, and you're a bad person. Or there may be the resistance to it. If someone says anything bad to you, don't allow there to be resistance to it. Allow your true nature to flow, because it just stops the flow. The resistance isn't really about what they're saying. It's a resistance that's emerging, that's actually blocking the flow of your true nature. So put the resistance, let the resistance go. People will describe how they're feeling, and they may talk to you in the same light because that's the way they feel about it. A very true statement is that people try to make people feel what they're feeling. A bully will always bully someone because they feel small, and so they want someone else to feel how that feels, and so they choose to bully them. But in actual fact, your feelings, your good feelings, are connected to your true self. Your loving feelings are connected to your true self. What we love is a bit of a illusion, really. That's what creates the attachment. We think we love someone, we think we love something, and we don't really. We just enjoy being loving, and that's why we express that love at that time. So we'll do more about the power of silence, but it isn't a blankness, an emptiness. It's actually a very active state of feelings and good wishes and warmth and love and vibrancy, which is what you are as a pure, truthful, honest being, clean out all the rubbish thoughts about yourself, and all you end up with is pure, good feelings towards yourself and others, of course, because how you feel about yourself, you'll always feel about others. Not true in the physical world, because you might feel something about yourself but not feel so good about others, because it's a false state of feeling. You might feel good as a mother, a father, a friend, and all those superficial feel-good factors. The real good feel factors are feelings that come from your true self, the eternal, immortal being that resides in the centre of the forehead, the soul, just a visitor to these bodies. So we'll do some meditation to finish with. Enjoy the rest of your day. So sitting in silence, I acknowledge the chatterbox of the mind, but I shift my attention away from the 50,000 thoughts of the day that the chatterbox of the mind promotes, caught up in the web of the many roles that I play. But I, the subtle, tiny, shining being of light, am the player of the role that I'm playing, the actor of the drama that I'm acting within. A tiny, infinitesimal spark of love, of light. I, the light, choose to be the light of peace. I, the eternal light, choose to be the light of love. I, the eternal, immortal star of light, choose to be the light of joy. I see myself, I visualize myself to be like a master sun of light. I watch the vibrations. I watch how they travel across the world, touching the minds of my brothers and sisters on the world stage. I create a vision, a visualization that moves into the unlimited, and I start to realize the power of the organ of the mind. I know not where it touches, but I know that it does touch. In my mind's eye, I see my vibrations of light encircling the world, and unbeknown to myself, there are others doing the same. And as our silent minds come together, there is a cacophony of power accumulating to uplift the world and make the world feel light and bright. And so strange that what I'm putting out is coming back to me. My thoughts, my feelings are like a boomerang of light and of love. And whoever is giving is receiving, taking blessings from every soul on the earth. They know not where the good wishes and the feelings are coming from, but they will soon begin to remark that they are being helped to return on their return journey to a state of contented, radiant, silence. Om Shanti.